What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another exclusive interview. I am here today with TNA's digital media champion, Steph DeLander, and Mance Warner, TNA's newest superstar. How are you doing today?
How you doing, babe?
Good, good, good.
I
I'm
mean,
ready to
I've
go.
got this shiny title in our living room, so I'm doing great.
It's awesome to see. I gotta say, it's awesome to see you guys together on TV because is this the first time you guys are working together on screen? In a
We did like we've done a little bit in GCW, but not much. This is definitely like the most that we've done. So it's very exciting to be working together finally.
For sure. And so you made your return in January alongside with Mance, you making your debut. What's it like coming to TNA and returning to TNA?
You want to start it off with your
No, you,
return?
no, you go.
Okay, for Old Manser, I came in there. I grew up watching TNA. So as soon as I knew I'm coming in, I'm ready to go. I'll fight anyone there. I'll beat the hell out of anyone there. And it just so happens to have my old lady with me. To your return, what do you got, baby?
Yeah, it was really cool because the last time that I was seen at TNA, I was announcing that I was having neck surgery, and it just so happened that it was literally in the same venue in San Antonio that I made that announcement. That then a few months later, I was able to return with Mance to kind of pick up this new storyline. So yeah, it was a cool little full circle moment, and I'm very happy to be back in TNA.
You first made your debut in 2023 where, we knew what we saw you from NXT days and who you were there, but you became this whole new entity in the sense of I mean, no shade towards Persia, but Steph DeLander clears in like every way, you know. But how was it becoming SDL compared to that, and just becoming like that more of a household name now?
I mean, it's one of those things where I think in life you always think you know everything and you've got it figured out. And then a couple of years later, you look back and you go, I had no idea, right? So when I was at NXT, I thought I was ready to be at WWE. But now, a few years later, looking back, I look at that time and I go, I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure of who I was. So, how can I expect anyone else to like buy into me as a performer if I don't even know who I am? And I don't think that's completely 100% my fault. I think that environment as well, it's a very, I was very much like, oh, I just want to say a blank canvas so I can be whatever they need me to be. But then I kind of had this realization since getting released from WWE and speaking to some of my mentors and also seeing what other people have done, like looking at people like Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes and Matt Cardona and even Chelsea Green and seeing these kind of career metamorphosis outside of WWE and realizing that's the path that I want to take. And I had to let go of the fear of making the wrong decision or doing changing something about my appearance that might not be likable to every single person or whatever it may be. I had to let go of that fear and just really commit to becoming myself, and then once I did that, everything started to click a lot more.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like we saw a new version of yourself. Obviously, new name and everything, but it's awesome to really, see people take off once they do get out of WWE, and it's really cool to. It's awesome to be a part of for sure.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Not a problem. So I also wanted to ask what it's like being a part of the Knockouts division as a whole as well, and what your thoughts on just being one of the most talented women's divisions.
I mean, I think the knockouts have always been a very strong women's division in wrestling, right? Like, in my opinion, TNA has always been you go there for the knockouts, you go there for the X division. And that's not to put a knock on anyone else, but that's just the reality is in areas that other companies might be lacking, TNA is really strong. And I think we're in this interesting transitional period where a lot of the mainstay names that have been in TNA for years have moved on. Like in the last year, you lost Deonna, who was a huge part of the division. We've just lost Jordan Grace, who again was a huge part of the division. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up over the next few months and who claims those spots. It's a very exciting time for me personally as well because I'm seeing the playing field, I'm seeing who's around, I'm seeing what spots are open, and I'm plotting my next moves as always.
And I'm sure it's going to be a blast looking ahead. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big TNA guy, so love the knockouts division, love the tag division. Mance, I'm really looking forward to your impending match with Sami Callihan because you guys are alike in a lot of ways because you're both violent fighters. Like, I mean, we saw that this past Saturday with Gabe Kidd, which was amazing. But what's why target Sammy when you want to make your debut?
Because he's out there in the ring, baby. Like you said, I fought Sammy all over the world, and now we're doing it at TNA, man. So for me, I told you earlier, I was a fan with TNA when it first started. I remember buying the VHS. You know about VHS?
Yes, I
Back when it
know
was
about
on, I'd
VHS.
get it on pay per view. It was $9.99 every Wednesday, and tape it on VHS. Back in 2002, 2003. So like me debuting out there and then fighting someone who I know likes hurting people, who loves violence. And like I've said before, I don't do matches, I do fights. So at some point, Sammy and Old Mance are going to do a fight. And it may not end. It may have to continue. Go and go and go. But either way, very excited for it.
I'm really looking forward to that match because, you guys are I mean, obviously two of my favorite fighters, I would say, because I'm a big brawler type of guy. Like I'm not so much a mat wrestling guy. I'm more of a just fight, and that's why
Old school fighting.
yeah.
Yes, I do.
And so I have to say, so you said you're a TNA fan growing up. You made your debut when Steph returned in January, obviously. What's it like debuting for the company that you were a big fan of growing up?
Oh man, I love it. I remember hearing them yell, we're fighting through the impact zone. And that put a smile on my face. It's those little things where when you're a fan and we all love pro wrestling, but when you love the industry so much and then you've already seen it in your head, you're going to do something way before. But then when you're out there doing it, I think that's the good journey of it. But once again, when it's me and Sammy, I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to cut him up. I'm going to beat him into the dirt. And I'm excited for that. It makes me happy.
It's going to be a hell of a match when it finally does happen. We saw a little taste of it this past Thursday when you jumped him from behind in the beginning and then you guys brawled to end it. And it's going to be that's going to be a fight. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Me too.
For sure. So I also wanted to ask about the two shows in Orlando this weekend. Steph, you're going to be making your return to Full Sail. Mance,
I've never been to Full Sail.
NXT was?
Yeah, by the time I was in NXT, we were taping at the PC.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, 'cause I don't remember the years and stuff, but what can we look forward to at Full Sail University for both of you?
Well, I mean, we live like literally 6 minutes away. So I think that in itself, we got a big box of tools, and I know you like to use tools. So I'm worried that he's going to try to sneak in some of our home improvement hardware into the venue.
I see. I'm a redneck. I like to fix things around the house. I like to go outside and mow the yard. I like things that are sharp that I can play with. And like I said,
Love
we
it.
live 5 minutes from the venue. So that means, if you're flying somewhere, I can't take all my tools with me.
Yeah, but if you're driving, you can
But if I'm
put a
driving,
screwdriver in a boot quite easily, right?
easy, I could put all the weaponry I need and take it into that venue. I'm very excited.
I think on that note too, the WWE Performance Center is like, again, within a 10-minute drive. So there's a whole bunch of fans who religiously go to NXT every week that I'm sure a lot of them are going to come to TNA. So I'm very interested to see, what the crowd reaction is going to be like for everyone in general. I think it's going to be a hot as hell crowd. I'm pretty sure I saw online that they're on the way to selling out both nights. So I don't know if TNA has ever ran Full Sail before, but if they have, it definitely hasn't done it for years. So, I mean, selfishly, I'm hoping that this turns into a regular thing, just because I love Florida, I love Orlando, and as I said, we live around the corner. But I think the shows are shaping up to be really big.
I mean, for the fans, like I was talking about when I was little Mancer and I was a fan of everything. For the fans now, like looking back when I was a kid, you probably done the same thing. Steph's done the same thing. You do dream matches in your head.
Yep.
What TNA goes against WWE, what can happen? Da 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 da. And it's happening right now, and it's going to continue to happen. So these two live events, God knows what's going to happen. So it's exciting. All of it's good.
And I did want to ask a little bit about the NXT and TNA crossover, which it's an amazing time to be a pro wrestling fan. I absolutely love everything that's going on right now. Do you guys have your eyes on anybody from NXT that you would love to square off with that you might not normally get the chance to?
You know my answer.
Say it.
Anyone. If I get a paycheck for beating up somebody, but there's tons of people. You could throw me in there with any single person. I would love to get a paycheck for punching Lexus King in the mouth. That'd make me feel good. Anyone out there? Yeah, everyone knows I want to beat the shit out of Kevin Owens sometime. But anyways, go ahead, baby. I know you got a little something there.
I mean, it's like it's the same when people ask me if I have dream matches. And it's not to say I've run out of dream matches. Of course I haven't. I haven't run out of dream opponents. But for me, and this might be pulling the curtain back a little bit too much, but I'm interested in what is going to be a good story. What is going to make sense? What is there someone that I have history with in the past? Or is there something more to this than just like, let's have a good wrestling match, you know? So there are people there that were there when I was there. And there's people that I like, and there's people that I don't like. And that's reality. So, I mean, if I were to come back to NXT at some point, there's a couple of people I think could be shaking in their boots, and that in itself is funny to me.
That's the beauty of all of this because it's like, I can't believe we're even having this conversation because back in the day, like this would be completely unheard of, like TNA own entity, WWE own entity. AEW is obviously with New Japan, but I'm saying back in the day, like it's different now, and it's awesome to see for sure.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time to be in wrestling and also to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely. So I did want to leave things off with what is next for each of you. Do you have any future goals or future opponents you'd like to face in TNA?
I mean, for me, first and foremost, I'm still recovering from my neck surgery. So my biggest goal for this year is return to the ring, come back healthy 100%. I definitely, in the next 12 months, want to win another title in TNA, preferably not by divorce. I think, I've got my baby from divorce, but I think I would definitely love to get my hands on either the Knockouts title or the Knockouts tag titles. And there's a lot of different moving parts with all of those ideas that, I think as long as everything goes the way I think it will, as long as I stay true to my plan and my goals, I don't think that's too much of a far-fetched idea. So that's kind of my mission for the next 12 months. But what about you?
For me, every company I've ever went to, I start at the bottom and I fight all the way up the ladder. Ain't nothing different out here. Like I said, I'm a fan of TNA, grew up watching it. Now I'm at TNA with Steph. Every place we've ever went, we take over. So in my mind, and I've already seen it, I will fight every single person at TNA. I want to end up being one of the people that when you say TNA, you think of Steph and Mance. And at some point, get the gold, be at the top. So that's my goal.
Awesome. And is there anything you'd like to tell anyone leaving off the interview about promoting yourself, where they could find you or TNA as a whole?
I mean, there's a lot of different places you can find us, but I would say at Steph DeLanda and at Mance Warner on social media is where you will be able to keep up with us. We have all our merch stores, whatnot, our podcast, all that kind of stuff. And as far as TNA, I would say jump on the train before it leaves the station because TNA is shaping up to have an incredible year. And I think now is the time to get in as a fan if you're not already, because it's only going to get better.
Absolutely. And Mance, did you have anything to add to that?
Just what Steph was saying at the end there, man, this is a train that keeps going and going and going. So it's like TNA, it just keeps moving. So same thing. If you ain't a fan yet, take that bit of time and watch it. There's going to be something in there you love. If you love pro wrestling, you go love TNA. So Jump in now before you missed out on stuff. And then you got to go back on the TNA app and then rewatch stuff that you could have saw if you would have bought the ticket, came and saw it in the first place.
Absolutely. And one final question. TNA this July, Slammiversary in the UBS Arena, my neck of the woods of Long Island, New York. Probably one of the biggest shows in history. It's going to be one of the biggest Slammiversaries in history for sure. What are your thoughts heading into that?
I mean, at Slammiversary last year, I proposed and feeling the energy of that crowd and how awesome that moment was. That was at the time the biggest crowd that I'd ever been in front of. And now I'm sure this year is going to top it as the biggest crowd that I've ever been in front of. So, whether or not I'm wrestling in the ring or whether I'm a part of the show in some way, I think it's going to be one of those cool moments of like, there was a time period here where they would have a couple hundred people in the crowd and that would be a good night. And now there's thousands of people in such an iconic venue. I think that's a cool, like, full circle moment for TNA in general. So I'm very excited and proud that we'll be a part of it.
Slammiversary is a staple of TNA. If you know anything about TNA, you know Slammiversary. Here we go. And for me, I've been busting my ass all over, and I'm at TNA. So the fans that do know me know that old Mance is going to get wild. I'm on that stage at TNA at Slammiversary in front of that jam-packed arena. I'm going to get wild. And the fans that don't know are going to know by then. So for me, I'm very excited for us to be at TNA and to have that platform to show people just how down and dirty and crazy old Mance can get. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's going to be an amazing year for TNA, for both of you too, and in TNA and out of TNA. It's going to be an amazing year. So I can't wait to see what the future has in store.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I appreciate your time today, guys. And I thank you again for everything.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thanks, Scott.